Hello again. So today, in this lesson, we are going to look at notes as they truly appear on music.
Okay, sounds good.
For music notes, we have something called a staff. And a staff consists of 5 horizontal lines. And each line holds a different note.
Right.
The higher the line, the higher the pitch. Pitch goes up, as we remember, going that way on the piano. Between each line, of course, there are spaces. There are 4 spaces, and each of those spaces also holds its own note. Now, because as pianists, we use 2 hands to play the piano, therefore, we have 2 different staffs. The upper one for the right hand, because it's on the higher pitches, and the lower staff for the left hand, because it's for the lower sounds. Now, what I would like to do right now is just look over here, and I'm just going to tell you that that space is this A. For now, I'm just going to tell you that. And we'll start with A because it's the beginning of the alphabet. It's pretty well the bottom of this staff. And what we notice is this A is on a space. The very next note on the line is B. Next space is C. Next line is D. So it simply follows the alphabet. And then E for the next space, F for the next line. Looking at the piano, it's very important to understand that when the keys are beside each other, space, that they go in this pattern. Space, then line, then the next space, then the next line, then the next space, then the next line, and so on. Okay?
Okay.
So I would like you to do that every day, where you just use maybe finger 3 every time when you sing. A, B, C. It's nice to sing with it. Makes you more in tune with hearing the pitches with the letters and name them. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we can go to there. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, now, I would like to look on this sheet of paper that I prepared for you and talk about what we see at the beginning of the staff, which is the staff for the left hand, the lower sounds. Many of us have heard of the bass clef. Bass, we know bass singers have lower voices. So the bass clef is for the left hand. But what a lot of North Americans don't realize, the full name is actually bass F clef. Because many countries in Europe, including our own Quebec, they call it an F clef. They don't call it a bass clef.
And why is that? Why is it called an F clef?
Because it points to where F is.
Okay.
Okay? It began back in the Middle Ages, and the original clef just did something like that, and they had 2 lines. It was a fancy kind of F.
Right, it looks like an F like that.
Right? And over time, they developed, they made it more fancy. And then they took away the 2 lines, and we have the 2 dots instead of the 2 lines. But the dots are on either side of this F line, and this big ball centers right on the F line.
Okay.
So I would say Quebec's probably influenced by France, which definitely calls it an F clef. So I get my students to call it an F clef, bass F clef. If you realize that this is the line that the F note sits on, anything you put on that line is called F. So this F is the F below middle C. That's the one. Because remember last lesson that middle C is in front of your middle and in the middle of the piano. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes down. This is the F, and only this F is symbolized by this line. So let's play that F again. And then I want you to go from that line up to the next space. G, G, up to the next line, A, up to the next space, B, and then up to this little line here, C, that's middle C. This little line is just an extension of these other lines. When we have to go higher than the 5 lines, we draw our own little lines. But they work the same way.
Right.
They're called ledger lines. You don't have to remember that name right now. But when you see that, for now, that's always middle C. All right?
Okay.
Let's go down to this little melody here. And what I want you to do is name the notes as you play them so your brain starts to remember. But when you play this, you don't have to name, and I'm going to tell you why. You notice there are 2 notes on one stem. When there are 2 notes on one stem, it means you play them together at the same time.
Okay.
So therefore, you don't need to name. And then we'll return to single notes, and I'd like you to name again. Don't worry right now about them being black and white. Just play them through all the same. Let's name. F, 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 C, 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 together. And then one at a time. C, that's okay. A, G, F. That was really good. Now, I'm going to tell you about when a note is a solid black color, it's only one color. So we call that one beat. When a note is black on the outside and white in the middle, that's 2 colors, black and white. And that is 2 counts. And that means we hold it for F2. So we hold it for 2 beats. When it has no stem, it is 4 beats. So let's try this one more time. And this time we're going to add the counts. And I'll show you the first bar. You're going to go F, 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 2. Okay? And when you get here, it'll be, you count to 4. F, 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 2. C, 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 2. 2. C, E, A, G, F, 2, 3, 4.
All right. Let's do the treble clef.
Let's do the treble clef. The treble clef we put in front of the staff that is designed for the right hand, for the upper pitches. So, I'm sure you guessed, I have a longer name for the treble clef.
Well, it's a longer symbol.
It is a longer symbol, isn't it? Look at the bright pink I drew on it, because that's the original clef back in the early Middle Ages, when writing was first designed, and it looks like a letter.
Kind of like a backwards, upside down F clef.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. Okay, forget the backward upside down.
Well, I guess it looks like a G.
There you go. This is the treble G clef. And it curls around the G line. And that line forever and eternity is called G in all instruments for all styles of music. And it is the G above middle C. So, let's play that G, Jonathan, and you must use your right hand. Good. Excellent. Remember I told you that middle C uses an extension of the staff and has its own little ledger line? There she is. There's middle C again. So let's play middle C and let's name her. C, and we'll keep going. D, E, F, G. Excellent. Now we're going to play this little tune in the same way we did the others. We're going to name the notes and count. G, 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 2. C, 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 2. 2. C, D, E, F, G, 2, 3, 4. And there you go. Now you've learned the beginning of reading the first notes of each hand.
Awesome, and we'll just call it there for today.
Wonderful.